Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Jarek, it's the Citywide Special. The free agent frenzy has begun. The Eagles have made a handful of signings, highlighted by running back Saquon Barkley and pass rusher Bryce Huff, as well as the return of CJ Gardner-Johnson. Fletcher Cox joins Jason Kelce in retirement, while Brandon Graham has signed on for another season. What other moves are to come for the Birds? The Flyers wrap up the trade deadline with a move for defenseman Erik Johnson. They also send Wade Allison to the Predators for forward Denis Gurianov. On the ice, the team remains decimated by injuries. A frustrating loss to the Lightning sees John Tortorella ejected and suspended 2 games. With a tough schedule ahead, could their playoff hopes be coming to an end? The Sixers continue to suck ass despite the return of Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid does not appear close to a return. A Ramona Shelburne report states that the team is hoping to have him back the last week of the season. The Union are eliminated from the Champions Cup. Opening day for the Phillies is 2 weeks away. All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
We're doing pretty good. It's about 75 degrees outside today. Doing nice. It's Thursday. Another week. And yeah, man.
Good to be back.
Yeah,
I'm honored to be here.
Another day, another dollar, whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah. I'm sorry to be here when Pat's not around to see that famous weather report, but glad to be filling in for him.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, Jarek. Welcome to the pod. You've been listening for a while, right?
Yeah, I've been day one listener, big fan. I watch on YouTube and Spotify, so really going hard for the boys.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Pumping those numbers up.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok while TikTok is still allowed in the U.S.
Damn, dude, don't take this shit away from me.
Yeah, it's I'm like a good millennial. I wait till Instagram posts TikToks 2 weeks after they become popular, so it's not going to affect my day to day. But
yeah.
So what is up with that, right? Like, why are people so mad about TikTok?
Well, I guess it's owned by a Chinese company, and so they only want Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk to be stealing your data.
Okay.
They don't want the Chinese to be doing the same thing that we do.
Yeah,
I think is the main gist of it.
Okay.
But it's also basically they're just like sort of backdooring in a bunch of like fucked up like Patriot Act type of shit. Like there's like verbiage in it that basically says that they can, take down what is it, like any website that has like is like has some kind of foreign connections or is like hostile to whatever interests, like very vague kind of shit. I think I was seeing people were kind of concerned that it might allow them to go after VPNs and stuff, shit like that.
Okay.
So you can't, pretend you're in another country to watch their Netflix shows or, pirate things or do any of that kind of fun stuff.
I've been following a little bit, and it's really funny because they have this like total China paranoia that this company's going to give all the data away to the Chinese government so they can spy on us. But one of the things is that it originally gave the president power just to decide, like personally, about who is allowed to run as a company. And so then the Republicans also started panicking about that because they realized they're basically going to give Joe Biden the power to take a company off the website and stuff. So it's been really stupid discourse to follow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw it floating around on Twitter the other day. I'm thinking, why are people so mad about TikTok? But I guess this all kind of makes sense. It's just the United States does not like China. We're just being xenophobic for no reason.
Yep, 100%.
And,
I did also find it really funny just scrolling through Twitter, all of the people that are, seem to be very dismissive of, just because like they think like TikTok sucks or whatever. It's like, how are you going to be like a Twitter addict and be like judging other people for using TikTok? It's like, it's like an alcoholic, like being condescending towards like some other kind of addict or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's all the same shit, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, follow us on TikTok while you can.
Yeah. Call your congressman, save TikTok, save the Chinese government from this gross miscarriage of justice. Anyway, yeah.
I guess obviously people can tell that Pat is not here. He's in New Orleans as I speak. Him and Hannah are down there enjoying vacation, St. Patty's Day or whatever. We were just talking about it before we started recording. We like in New Orleans here, right?
Yeah, New Orleans is sick. I've only been once, but fun town for sure.
Yeah, I've been several times. I really love New Orleans. It's just like awesome food, awesome people, easy to get drunk everywhere you look. So it's like guaranteed good time.
Yeah, pretty much got the party going all night. I remember one time I went there and we had to go to like Bourbon Street just because it's like the thing you have to do or whatever. And the first bar we pull up at, there's someone being dragged out and onto an ambulance, and no one gives a shit. It's like this clearly happens every night. Very funny.
I actually went there on Halloween one year, and I've never been for Mardi Gras, but Halloween was nuts. Like,
yeah,
so
Halloween sounds like it'd be fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah, I was there in January 2020. This is actually really funny. I was doing the thing, like just hopping from bar to bar, as you can do there. You just get a beer, pour in a cup, move on to the next one. Ended up at this one bar. Excuse me, I, for the life of me, couldn't tell you what it was called, but these people can tell, like, from the way I talk that I'm not from New Orleans, right? So they start asking me where I'm from. So I'm like, I'm from Philly. They're like, oh, they start calling me a Yankee and all this stuff. I'm like, hey, whatever, man. So then these other people are from Philly, and they start calling them Yankees too. So they start talking to them. They're like, yeah, you should go talk to this Yankee. So I start talking to these people, and they're like, we used to live in Philly. We live in New Orleans now, but we're actually just up in Philly for New Year's, which was a couple weeks prior. I was like, oh shit, get out in South Philly? They're like, yeah, we're in South Philly. I'm like, somehow we got to talking about Bomb Bomb. They went to Bomb Bomb right over here on 9th and Wolf. And at the time, I was living on 13th and Wolf. So we just started talking about, like, Bomb Bomb, Los Gallos, the sports complex. It was just the coolest experience. And I've heard other stories from friends that have gone to New Orleans where it's just like, yeah, I run into people from Philly there all the time. Just goes to show, man, New Orleans is a special place, but Philly is too.
Yeah. When I was there, it was kind of interesting because we were there over the weekend, and it was during football season, but it was actually the Saints bye week. So that the bar we went to just had like every other game on. So it was like each little section of the bar was like some different jersey or whatever. It looked like a commercial for like the NFL shop or something. It was like that. Yeah, that was fun.
So I was there in 2022, and I got off the plane and got into a taxi and pulled in as there was a Saints game going on.
Oh, wow.
And the streets were wild. Like there were people just tailgating underneath the highway, like as you're getting off the ramp, with like smokers and stuff. Like it seems like people really go hard for sports down there, which made me also like it a lot.
I do remember when we did one of those swamp tour things, which was fun.
Oh,
yeah, I saw some gators and shit.
Did you get to feed them?
Yeah, you feed them marshmallows, actually, is what they do. Not because they particularly like them, but they're easy for them to see. So they'll just instantly come up and, poke their head out and shit.
Interesting.
But, yeah, I remember, like, we had to take a bus. It was, like, maybe, like, I don't know, like a half hour, 40 minutes on this bus. And, like, it was so fucked up because the whole time the bus driver is just kind of pointing stuff out, but it's just shit that's been decimated because of Katrina. Like, and he was like, and over there used to be a water park, and that used to be a shopping mall, and and there's just nothing. I was like, Jesus Christ. You could also see, like, because we were up on, like, the highway, and if you looking at, like, the houses, like, below us or whatever, you could see, like, they all have those little, like, patches on the ceiling from where they, like, had to cut out to get on the fucking roof. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. Yeah.
Brutal.
George Bush doesn't care about that.
Probably one of I think we can safely say that that's the best thing Kanye West has ever said.
One of his last truly good statements.
It's wild to think about how freaked out people got by that.
Definitely.
Everything that came after that. Like, it's like, that was
the
easy
least
mode
of your worries.
Yeah, I would definitely put that one above, like Hitler was misunderstood or, some of the other things more recently, for sure.
But yeah, let's not talk about Kanye West. Would rather talk about almost anything else. We can move on and talk about our birds.
Yeah, a lot to get to. A lot of news, a lot of signings.
Do we want to start with?
I guess we'll go through these one by one. Or I guess the big marquee is Saquon. I'd say that's probably the biggest, definitely the most surprising, even though they were kind of like linked to him, but you kind of just thought, well, there's no way they're actually going to do that. That's not what they do, but they got him. I'm pretty excited. I don't know. It's like this, I know at least this year it's not a big cap hit. It's like 3.5, 3.4, something like that. It's, I think is basically a 2-year deal with an option for a third. And I think there's also stipulations about games played and things like that, which kind of protect them from injuries or whatever. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to what that offense is going to look like. It's been a while since they've really had a really top of the line running back like that. Probably not since LaShawn McCoy, really.
Yeah, I mean, when they got DeMarco Murray, he was pretty washed and didn't really fit the system. Then after that, it was kind of just running back by committee, right? It was, like your Ryan Matthews, if y'all remember him.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
It was, I guess, I don't even remember who else it was. Miles Sanders, of course. There was, obviously, our fill-ins, our Kenny Gainwells, our Boston Scotts. But yeah, they haven't had this, like, bell cow type back since LaShawn McCoy. And yeah, is it... I guess, what is it, 3 years, 40 or 37? Or I forget what it is.
Yeah, I forget the exact numbers. But
is that a lot for a running back? Yeah, especially for a team that historically has kind of devalued the position. But at the same time, man, the salary cap went up $30 million. So that makes that a lot more palatable. Plus, this isn't just any running back. This is, like a top 3 running back in the NFL when he's healthy.
Yeah, it's like I hear the risks and I understand the concerns, but like he's like a one-man game breaker when he's at his peak. So I think the upside is really exciting. So it's hard for me not to be like pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the like middle tier of running backs, it's like there's not a huge difference between like, the 6th best running back and the 25th best running back or whatever. But if you have a chance to get one of those like top 3 guys that could actually be a difference maker, and he's had if you just consider the production that he's had despite being on the shitty ass Giants,
right?
I mean, he's finally has what you would, despite Kelsey retiring, what you would still expect to be, at least like a top 5 offensive line in the league. You have the running threat there with Hurts, assuming that he's, his knees come back healthy and he can kind of start running more again. That should open up stuff for him. It should be fun to watch. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you have 2 elite receivers. You have let's call Hurts a top 5, top 6 quarterback. Goddard, you figure when healthy, is a top 4, top 5 tight end. Then a top 3 offensive line, you would think. Then one of the best running backs in the league. It could be a historic offense.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You just went through all their skilled positions on offense. They're all like borderline elite players.
Yeah, there's no excuse. Like last year, they were a top 10 offense. I think they were top 8 by most metrics or whatever. But there's no excuse for them to be anything lower than top 3 when you look at the weaponry that they have. You figure Kellen Moore, a schemer, has had some success in the league, has had some not so great years too, but a fresh start for him. You would honestly expect that this offense is the top offense, is a lead offense in the league. And they're probably going to have to carry the team, because I'm not super sold on the defense, and we'll get to that, but yeah, offensively, this should be really exciting. I'm looking forward to some Saquon, 60-yard runs for TDs.
Yeah.
He can also receive. He's also a blocker, a good pass blocker, which they haven't really had a good pass blocking running back in a while.
Yeah,
which will make a difference when we talk about Hurts against a blitz. He's not good against the blitz because he can't rely on his running backs. Now he's going to be able to rely on his running backs to block, to be open for a check down. It should be interesting. I feel like Saquon was kind of on a Hall of Fame trajectory and still is. So yeah, I mean, as long as he stays healthy, you add a Hall of Fame talent at running back when you've already got one at receiver in A.J. Brown. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to when we play the Giants at MetLife. That should be fun. See Tiki Barber get mad. That was hilarious.
Did you guys see? Someone shared a Tiki Barber saying he was dead to him, and then T.O. commented that he said that he thinks there's smoke where there's fire, or something like that, implying that there's some real deep-seated stuff going on behind the scenes. Yeah, T.O.'s trying to stir up some drama about it.
Yeah, T.O.'s the main. I don't care what anyone says.
Me too. I love T.O.
Is great. Yeah, I'd also love the whole idea of him complaining about a player not being loyal. The
Yeah.
guy cheated on his wife.
Yeah, like, what the hell, dude?
It's like, buddy. Yeah.
So, yeah, there was Saquon. Guess Bryce Huff was the other really big one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's...
This one's interesting. It kind of just depends on if you're looking at him as, you know, if you look at his career in totality, it's maybe not like super impressive, but if you think that last season is a sign of things to come and he's on like an upward trajectory, then it looks like a great move. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see how that's going to work out, if he's going to be able to maintain what he did last season.
Yeah, I think what a lot of the football guys have been saying is that he didn't really play that many snaps to get to like his 10 sacks and however many QB hits he had. So if you prorate that over a full season's worth of snaps, do you expect the same production, or does he wear down because he's playing more? It remains to be seen. I mean, he's never really played that many snaps. I believe he's undrafted, so even his first couple years, no one really had high expectations of him. So now that the expectations are there, does he live up to them? Does he exceed him? Does he kind of just sit where he is? I don't really know. It does seem like schematically he's probably a better fit for a Fangio defense. Fangio likes smaller edge rushers that can drop and play coverage if needed. Huff seems capable of that. On the flip side, that means he's probably a little more vulnerable in run defense, which, I don't know, could become an issue. Can't really say one way or the other. But at the same time, if he can live up to his pass rush upside, assuming that you get rid of, well, they're going to get rid of one of Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweater. I've been hearing some people say they could get rid of them both. He can at least fill that void that you lose at edge rusher, at hitting the quarterback, at putting pressure on the quarterback, because he is a pass rusher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, so what do we think about Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick? We think they're out of here?
I'd be pretty shocked if they're both still here. That's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of cooks in the kitchen, I guess. Yeah, I mean, and then Huff would be making like more money than either of them, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so like that's kind of, that aspect of it is kind of weird if you're like, you know, Hassan Reddick, who's, you know, looking for a new deal anyway. Yeah, it just seems like someone's got to be the odd man out. I'm not sure exactly which it's going to be. Kind of feels more, I don't know. I was going to say it kind of feels more likely that Reddick is the one to go, but I honestly don't know. Could really be either.
Yeah, that seems right to me. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that, like, maybe he'll stick around till the draft or something, but, like, that he's probably on his way out.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear too much about the draft, but that you could get a lot of value for Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweat. It seems like you would be able to extract second-round pick for one of those guys. Reddick, you might be able to get. For one of them, you might be able to get a first.
What did Brian Burns just go for?
They didn't get a...
It wasn't a crazy return.
I think it was a second and a fifth.
Yeah.
And I remember some money.
I remember a couple years ago they were being offered like 2 firsts for him.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. The Rams offered them 2 firsts, and
that
they said
franchise.
No. Yeah, Carolina's a mess, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I guess you figure one of them, maybe both of them stick around to the draft, and you flip one of them for a second. Howie might be able to fleece someone for a first, knowing him. And yeah, that's worth it. If you give up one of them, I think you have to keep the other. I don't want to see them both go. So then you kind of create a situation where...
Yeah, then also you're pretty thin at that position.
Yeah, you're relying on Nolan Smith to really develop. My boy, Nolan Smith. You're relying on Brandon Graham, who I'm glad that he's back. I'm very glad that he's back, but he's older than me.
Yeah, he's got some miles
He's
on.
an older guy, right? Like, you can't rely on him too much.
You said that like it was a brutal insult. Older than me.
Yeah.
Fucking ancient.
How old is he? He's a couple years older than me, which probably not too many NFL, at least non-quarterbacks or kickers that are at least a couple years older than me these days. We're getting old yet.
Yeah, most professional athletes are younger than me at this point.
Yeah, I've hit the age where when there are people my age playing, they're like, how is he still alive?
Yeah.
That man can barely handle anything.
The oldest man in the world somehow still playing baseball.
But then, I get it though, right? Because, I mean, I go to a show, like I was at a show the last couple of nights. Like, I'm standing around on my feet for 3 hours. I wake up the next morning, it's like, damn, my legs are sore.
Last night I went to see Danny Brown, which is awesome. But,
nice.
I hate, like, it was at the TLA, and they have that seating section upstairs, but it's like, I think you have to have special tickets, like it's all like sectioned off, and I was like, I just want to sit down somewhere for fuck's sake. Like,
dude, I've been going to like all ages general admission shows since I was a little kid, and like increasingly those balcony seats that are ticketed look so nice to me, and it just like kills me to think about it, but like I'm dead the next day if I stand for 3 hours at a concert.
I always like try to get there as late as I can without missing anything, but I always still end up getting there too early. But at least like this was this show was like, a high energy sort of thing, which was helpful because I was like really tired. I was like, God damn, I gotta stop buying concert tickets for shit that's on a Wednesday. This is like, I can't do this shit anymore.
Was the show good? I love that record.
The show was awesome. But I remember like a while back, I think it was also on a Wednesday night, I saw Wise Blood, who's great. I love her music, but it was just like kind of a slog to get to that show because it's like I'm like tired as fuck on a work night, and I'm like sitting there listening to like an hour of sad girl music. This is not really, helping me stay awake. But yeah.
See, that's how you feel going to a show. And Brandon Graham's older than me.
Football,
he's chasing quarterbacks, battling offensive tackles. They're 10 years younger than him. Can't be relying on him for that much, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my joints are fried, and I don't even like take half the heat that any pro athlete does, so I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in the summer when we'd be playing kickball. I'd be sore for like 4 days from playing which I guess football is a child's game, but kickball is really a child's game. Yeah. I'm sore for like 4 days. It's just like, oh man, getting too old for this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, you figure we'll have to see what they end up doing. I guess they look at Zach Bond, the linebacker that they picked up.
Yeah.
They look at him as someone that can give them some edge rush ability. I don't really see it. Like, I looked at...
It sounds like he's mainly been a special teams guy.
Exactly. I looked at his pro football reference page, and it just screamed special teamer to me. But apparently the Saints used him in edge rushing situations last year, and he was fine. So maybe they look at him.
It's an extra guy to rotate in.
But yeah, he's probably going to be your special teams ace, which their special teams was elite last year.
Yeah.
Brought the whole crew
interesting.
back.
Usually not their strongest point. But, yeah.
That's what happens when you have our mule-leg son, dude.
It's true, man. Who also got signed to an extension.
Yeah.
He's now one of the highest paid kickers. Deservingly so. He's, next to Justin Tucker, I don't think there's anyone else I'd rather have kicking field goals.
Yeah, brought him back. Braden Mann. Aaron Sipos. Yeah. We knew ye, and we didn't really want to know ye, but good riddance. Braden Mann's our boy. We probably would have won the Super Bowl. We had Braden Mann.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can definitively say that, but we might have.
So many things. It wasn't for the Sod
the
Father.
Sod Father. Yo, is he still alive?
I hope not.
If he is,
fuck him. He can mow the lawn in hell as far as I'm concerned.
Brutal.
Yeah, so he cost us. Aaron Sipos cost us, but our new punter won't. We brought Rick Lovato back.
Yeah.
The best long snapper in football. It's like, I guess. I don't
know.
Although, to be fair, long snapping is kind of hard, dude.
It seems pretty difficult, yeah.
Like, we're talking, I don't know how long a long snapper has to snap the ball. It's got to be 10 yards.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
It's a long snap.
Yeah, they like when the quarterback.
It's no short snap.
Well, when the quarterback's under center, that's the shortest snap there is.
Yeah. It's always funny when you see people fuck that up. Like
right.
They just shove the ball into their own ass, basically, and fumble it.
I'm sure it's harder than it looks, but it does look like you're handing the guy the ball and then they drop it and stuff.
I mean, I guess you're just trying to do it very quickly, so it's easy to fuck that up, but yeah.
Yeah, it always looks so sad. It's just like, here.
But yeah, special teams should be good, man. Who else we got? Landon Dickerson got himself an extension.
Yeah. Pretty big one. Guards have been getting paid, which is interesting. There was like a couple guards that got signed so far.
Yeah, the one guard got signed for like $100 million.
Yeah.
Imagine being good for him. I mean, it's probably a really good guard, and it's an important position. I think for the longest,
it's a good time to be a free agent right now with that cap going up.
Yeah. Man, we should go become free agents.
Dude, speaking of fucking, I had to mention the Calvin Ridley signing with the Titans for basically, like, for more money than they refused to give A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest things. I mean, I guess different people in charge, but still very, very funny.
So hilarious.
It's
amazing self.
A guy is, A.J. Brown's, 26, Calvin Ridley's 29. And
I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, he's old, and is just, I mean, he's fine. He's a perfectly fine, I would probably consider him like a solid like number 2 wide receiver, but I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's no A.J. Brown.
They really fumbled that bad, but good for us.
Yeah, that's why the Titans are where they are. Just not a very well-run or good franchise. But yeah, we should go become free agents. I mean,
yeah,
I can kind of receive. I can run a route or two. Wow. I can probably run as many routes as Deebo Samuel. It's like,
you heard it right here.
Yeah, I'm declaring myself. I'm going to start sending my resume out to all the GMs.
Yeah, we'll be like invincible,
I'm gonna put together a little like highlight reel, just running around.
Yeah, you could run a couple routes.
Probably.
I don't know if you
legs.
You wouldn't be a receiver. You would get destroyed, man.
Oh yeah. Well,
what position would you play?
If I got tackled once, my ribs would be destroyed. I'd be in the hospital. Like just one big hit would be it. I'd be done.
What position do you think you would play?
I mean,
you could probably be a punter.
Yeah, probably something with the feet. Kicker or punter. Something out of harm's way. That's a dude. Like if I ever have kids, I'm gonna just train them from day one to be an NFL kicker. Just the best job in the world. You could do it into your 40s. Don't get hurt. Just, I don't care. Boy, girl, I don't care. They're going to be an NFL punter. Just be like, you're not going to school today. We're doing kicks in the backyard. You don't need school.
I'd love to watch that movie of like the feel good story about some kid that's like raised from birth to be a kicker.
Yeah, the like helicopter parents.
Yeah. The psycho dad that's like, I believe in you.
Yeah, it's like those psycho moms that are like put their daughters in those like fucked up beauty pageants. Yeah. It's like what was that show called? It was that was like on like TLC. That was like a reality show about those people.
I don't remember.
I forget what it was, but Toddlers and Tiaras.
Right. Yeah.
That was like some of the most fucked up things I've ever seen. But yeah, it'd be something like that, but for kicking field goals.
People would watch it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey.
That would probably go hard. It's a reality show.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of the Netflix documentary Quarterback, Netflix documentary Kicker. There we go.
It's all just a bunch of Kirk Cousins. It's all just boring white guys.
It's just like
Kirk Cousins, by the way, going to Atlanta is very funny.
The perfect marriage of city and athlete right there.
Yeah, for sure. That is pretty exciting, though, that they have say what you will about Kirk Cousins. He has like a pretty, at least I would say above average quarterback with Bijan and shit. They should be better.
Yeah, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They traded for Rondale Moore today, too. They traded Desmond Ridder to Arizona for Rondale Moore.
Oh, yeah.
So they should have a good
offense. They got to be favorites in that division as it stands now, I would think.
I don't know, man. The Bucs gave Baker all that money. They believe in Baker.
Yeah.
They brought back Mike Evans. I don't know, man. It's like
true.
The NFC sucks.
Regardless, that's not a good division. Sucks. It's still not good. Yeah.
Although the Bucs did beat us, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a couple more moves to talk about. The big one, or what other people feel like is the big one, is bringing back CJ/GJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting. I think I'm pretty, I'd say like lukewarm, happy with the move. I mean, after they missed out on McKinney, your options are kind of limited there. I don't really know. I mean, I guess you could say that they could have gone for, what's his name? Simmons instead. But, I do, he was like a fan favorite when he was here. I do think like he brings like a good energy. He can play nickel. The versatility, I think, is also key. Like, he can play nickel, he can play safety, which I think should be a good fit for the Fangio scheme. So yeah, I think it's good. I like having him back. It is kind of funny that he was like talking all that shit last
that
year,
clip.
and people were just like, "Who cares? Doesn't matter."
Yeah,
I have forgotten this.
I love it because there's the clip of him being like, "The thing I hate most about Philly is the people," and then a lot of I saw a lot of the comments on it were like, "I'm from Philly, me too."
Yeah, like
fair enough.
No, it's true. He got us.
Yeah, I mean, we hate us
no
too.
lies spoken.
Yeah. I think from a team building vibes perspective, it's a good addition because that team had the swag of a rock last year.
Yeah,
I
guess the one thing that I would say is because I was kind of coming back and forth with this, thinking about it, like how that defense just looks so anemic and discombobulated, and just there's no words for it. And thinking, well, if C.J. Gardner-Johnson were there, like, that wouldn't have happened. Like, he wouldn't have let that get like that. Or would that have been even worse? Like, would he have just been, like, screaming at people and, like, getting into fights with people on the sidelines? Like, it very easily could have gone either way. So I don't know. But in any case, I'm pretty satisfied to have him back.
Yeah, sometimes you need someone to just go over to the sideline and piss a bunch of people off, get them riled up. Like, that energy is good to a degree. Like, you don't want it all the time where it destroys a team. Like T.O., for example, I guess, might be an example of that back in the day. But I think a little bit of that would have really helped last year, and I think it'll be a good personality fit for them as they move forward. It's just, my concern with him is he's always hurt. The year he was here, he missed half the season. Last year, he missed 14 games.
Him.
Yeah. I mean, what was he at with last year?
A torn pec.
Torn pec. Yeah, because I know like when he was with us, it was like a lacerated kid. It was like kind of a weird thing, which like I don't really, hold that. That to me, that doesn't really scream like injury prone. That was just sort of like if it was just like constant ankle injuries or something, then I'd be a little more concerned. But yeah, I mean, torn pec. That's also kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, he is like you could say he is a little undersized. I don't know if that's contributing to that. Yeah, I mean, it's a concern, but I don't know, man. It's football. People get hurt. It is what it is. Yeah,
I just feel like if you are going to rely on him a bunch, you kind of need to have someone else relying the wings, whether that's Sidney Brown, whether it's...
Though he won't be back at least in...
Yeah, he's going to miss probably the start of the season. Whether it's some guy you draft or another veteran you pick up. I don't like relying on CJ to be your number one safety the whole year. Just, I feel like he's going to get hurt and miss several games. Kind of the Avonte Maddox thing. Pat's boy, my boy. Pat hates Avonte. He doesn't hate Avonte Maddox, but Pat would always say Avonte Maddox is soft and gets hurt too much. CJ is essentially the same. So, anyway, I largely like the move because, as you said, Trevor, versatility-wise, in Fangio's defense, you need a safety that can quickly diagnose and rotate to nickel if he needs to, or if he's in nickel, drop back if he needs to. And CJ gives you that. And I don't know, maybe he helps, if they keep Bradbury, maybe he helps Bradbury look serviceable again.
Yeah.
Covers up for some of his slow-footedness, if that's a word.
I'll take it.
But what else we got?
Yeah, it was...
Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Oh, Hennessy.
Hey.
Yeah, I almost glossed over him. So, yeah, we got to do a shot of Hennessy for our boy Matt Hennessy from Temple, Philly's own.
Go Owls.
Should actually, hold on.
Oh, now you do want one?
Yeah, no.
Man. But anyway, so yeah, I'll pour us a couple shots of Hennessy. I hope I have 3 shots in here. This bottle's from home yet. But he should fill a hole. They kind of needed a backup offensive tackle or offensive lineman that can start. And he should be able to do that. I kind of called that last week, right? Didn't I say that last week?
What did you say?
I said that they needed a backup offensive lineman that if they need him to start, can start. I said that last week, right?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
I don't remember, but I trust you.
I think I said something to that effect. So yeah, he fills that void. Oh, I don't know if I have 3 shots in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
We can... Trevor and I can split one.
Yeah. Oh. You can just make it a baby shot. That's fine.
Yeah, none of these are going to be full, but hey, we'll make it work. Yeah, there we go.
All right, that's solid, actually.
All right. Jarek, there's yours.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers to Matt Hennessy.
Cheers to Hennessy.
Yeah, Hennessy's much better chilled, but that was still fine.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes me want to go to Hennessy bar.
yeah, that bar.
I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
That's
I've
a
been there
fun place.
years. You familiar with the Hennessy
Where is
bar?
that?
It's on.
It's like Snyder, just
It's like where Snyder and Pash Yunk meet.
yeah, it's kind of near.
Okay.
It's actually right around the. It's on the same block as Pat and Hannah, but yeah, it's on like. You remember where Melrose used to be?
Yeah,
It's
I know where it
essentially
is.
right there.
I think I walked by it, but I've never been in there.
That bar, oof.
Yeah, it doesn't
bar
really
is
look like a
wild.
bar from outside. I mean, it's pretty much just like a beer store that's also, serves drinks. But yeah, it's a fun place.
Yeah, we should go there soon.
Yeah.
You know what it kind of reminded me of? Not in like the same way, but it kind of had that homely, like, greasy, towny bar feel that the Irish pub in Atlantic City we went to has.
Yeah.
That place. We should go back there.
Yeah, you know.
You'll fall in love with that old casino working lady again. The Cougars
dude.
will be prowling, man.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
But, all right, yeah, Matt Hennessy. I mostly just brought him up so we could do shots of Hennessy
go.
on the pod.
Yeah, not too much else to talk about with him, I don't think.
Well, I guess the last Eagles-related thing is shout out Fletch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox, 12-year career as an Eagle. I feel like in a lot of ways he was kind of underrated, especially in the back half of his career. Because it felt like first half of his career he was looked at as, after Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle in the league.
Yeah.
But then he had, I guess it was maybe 1 year, I think it was that he was kind of down and everyone just wrote him off. Then last year he was their best player on defense, at least consistently. And was a leader on the team. He's also just a cool dude, man.
yeah, extremely likable. It's seeing him and Kelsey go in the same season and stuff because it's like it feels like they're starting to shift a little bit. And two very likable Eagle players.
Kind of feels like when like Rollins and Utley finally were gone from the Phillies. The like teams it was in a different place than the Eagles are still good.
Yeah.
But yeah. End of an era for sure in multiple ways.
Yeah, you figure, I mean, Fletcher and Kelsey spent their entire careers with the team. And like, I feel like in pro sports in general, that's just very uncommon.
Yeah, it's
these
getting
days.
more and more rare for that to happen.
But yeah, they were just drafted by the Eagles, stuck around the whole time, won a Super Bowl. Fletch, dare say, was the best player on that Super Bowl team, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, after Wentz goes down. Man, I was fucking watching. I was watching like some highlight reels of like 2017 Wentz, and it just still makes me insane how like I was like, what the fuck happened? I don't know. We don't have to get on that, but like, God, he was so fucking good that season, like crazy.
Yeah, he was
Whatever.
the man. He tore his ACL. Was never the same player after that. And he was really never the same player after Jadeveon Clowney whacked him in the head in that playoff game.
Yeah,
Just
wild fall from grace for him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. Yeah, because in that season, when we, went to the playoffs against the Seahawks or whatever, like he was dragging that team. He was throwing to like fucking who was his receivers? Were like Greg Ward was probably like the number, and who was that fucking guy? Fulgham, Travis Fulgham.
Fulgham was 2020.
Oh, was that a year later?
Yeah, Fulgham was the COVID year, but I can't remember any of those other receivers.
Yeah, it was just
that were on
like
that
there was
team.
like nobody. He was throwing to like just a bunch of guys. But anyway, whatever. I don't want to do too much Carson Wentz apologia. Like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll have time in the middle of summer to relitigate the Carson
One of
Wentz
these days
tenure.
we're gonna have that episode when we don't have anything else to talk about.
We can also relitigate the Ben Simmons tenure. Shout out Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one, dude. You look at his old highlights. It's just like,
man.
what the fuck?
There's going to be a hot shirtless training video coming this summer
Yep.
Yeah,
after yet
Yeah.
another season. I saw
dude. He looks like he might not ever play in the NBA.
Dude,
again.
I mean the nerve thing coming back. I saw this graph someone had made. It was just a diagram of all the games that he's been eligible to play in and all the games he actually played in, and it's like just a sea of red with like random green drops everywhere.
It almost makes you almost relieved that his on-court play just fell off a cliff, because it would have been even more crushing if he continued to be like really, really good and then had all this like crazy injury shit just fuck up his career. That would be even more crushing. But anyway, what were we talking? What were we talking about?
Wentz and Ben Simmons. Got to bring those topical issues up.
So, yeah, you know they always got to get worked in at some point.
I guess we can move on from them though. Let's talk some Flyers. They were busy. With personnel acquisition and whatnot. See what the score is of the game right now. Actually, we were recording while they play the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. When we started, they were down 3-1, and currently the score is... Oh, that's the NBA. What are the Sixers doing? The Sixers are up 7 in the third.
Let's go.
Shit, okay.
Oh, shit. If they win this game, dude, I bet against them. I bet about Bucks minus 7.5.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know. The Sixers have been getting smoked, so I kind of expected...
There's still time.
True.
Yeah.
The Flyers are... There's down 3-1 after 2 periods.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyway... I mean, they were busy on the player acquisition front. I feel like when we recorded last week, the only move that they had made to that point was
they had traded
trading Sean Walker, right? They hadn't made any other moves the other moves came last Friday.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. They trade Wade Allison, who I always liked. I thought he, had potential, but it just seemed like he didn't fit into their plans, and it was kind of just like, could use a change of scenery type of thing. So
yeah, he had a lot of promise, but it kind of felt like the Wade Allison
had some
experiment
injuries
had just
stuff
ended.
too.
Yeah, the injuries, and I just feel like he never really hit his stride playing with the Flyers. So it's disappointing from where we thought he could be, but
always tough to see. It feels like it's especially hard for the Flyers to give up on a ginger.
Yeah,
I knew that's where you were taking it.
They love their gingers,
Yeah. No, it's not Drew's locker room anymore. Gingers just aren't welcome like they used to be.
Hey man, Owen Tippett.
Yeah.
Bringing it back. Yeah,
he's
Cam
home
York.
to
he's representing.
Cam York, yeah. There's 2 good gingers still hanging around.
It is kind of insane how they really do seem to always have a bunch of gingers on the team.
Yeah,
I don't know why that is.
He's not good,
They
but
had
Mark
like a whole
Stahl.
they had like a whole ginger line at some point. It was like Giroux, Voracek, and I forget who else it was.
Raffle played with them, who's a ginger.
I guess, yeah.
He's a weird one because he's an Austrian ginger.
Still counts, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gave up on Wade out. Or
I guess Hartnell probably at some point.
Oh, yeah, Hartnell.
Yeah.
I always forgot about Hartnell.
Yeah, that's a bit of a throwback.
I don't know if you've seen his hair lately.
His hair
he's
now
really
is-
not doing the gingers proud.
No,
I don't know if you guys want him
I don't
anymore,
know
Trevor.
I remember the last time I was watching the broadcast and he was doing in between periods on like the panel, whatever, and it was like I had actually just come back from getting a haircut, and it was fresh in my mind that like, what the fuck does he tell the guy when he sits down and he's like, what do you want us to do?
It's like the old,
I don't even
meme,
how do you even describe that?
It's the old meme, just fuck my shit up, fam.
Yeah. It's like he just is like has like some different instructions on a dartboard, and it's just like random things. It's like I want like pretty much shit like like a fade, but also just weird shit on top.
Yeah, how do you describe that?
I don't even know how you
Yeah.
describe that.
I feel like he sees what's like trendy with young kids now, like the curly hair on top with the fade, and just like tried to do that, but just missed in every level.
It's like, bro, you're like 30 years too old for that, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a throwback, Ginger. That's a good one.
But anyway, what were we talking about?
Wade Allison.
Wade Allison.
Yeah.
Wade Allison goes. We get
Guryanov.
Yeah, which that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
guy.
he's like a reclamation project.
Exactly.
He's a 12th overall draft pick who he spent a lot of last season playing in the AHL. He's been bouncing around teams. He's like a guy that has offensive upside. Actually, the game tonight we saw like a really good chance that he had.
Yeah.
So he it's like a guy that probably ends up being like a Lawton type, like bottom third or fourth liner but you know, the upside's there, so it's interesting at least.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take a flyer on guys like that.
Yeah.
You know,
especially for Allison, who's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need these depth guys, and you're going to need to find value at the margins as you're going through your rebuild. Like, so in that sense, yeah, you can probably fill a third line, fourth line forward. Maybe he becomes something more, but if he doesn't, so be it. You didn't really give up a whole lot to get him.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine
he is
with
one
it.
of those, like, I will see how he deploys, but he's like one of those like Raffalon types that you could throw up in the line if you wanted to try him out. So I don't know if they will, but he's a chance to play up there.
Yeah. Yeah, so totally cool with that. Eric Johnson, what did we give up for him again?
Like a fifth?
A fourth
or
a
fifth?
fourth, or it might have been like a late fourth. Or a late fourth or a late, I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, not much. And it was kind of just, I mean, they kind of needed to get somebody with all the injuries they have.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, you don't really want them trading picks for guys like that in a rebuild, but it's like they need to ice a team.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you see the D right now. It's like Atard and him filling out the six. So it's somebody put out there. It's funny. Like, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but like, if 10 years ago we got him and Ryan Johansson, I would have been really hyped.
Yeah.
And now they're both totally washed. So it's like,
yeah.
Eric Johnson way after his peak, but
Yeah.
Gotta have that veteran presence, I guess.
yeah. And unlike Stahl, he's like a veteran who's still got a little bit in the tank. So
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, like we said, it fills a role. Like you figure, they were just saying on the broadcast today that Drysdale and Risto aren't really close to coming back.
It sounds like they're not going to be back this season.
Yeah, especially Drysdale. Like they're talking around it, but it sounds like he's done for the season.
Yeah, so you figure Eric Johnson's going to have to play some big minutes coming down the stretch here. You don't really want to rely on Adard to play more than a game here or there if you really need him to. So, yeah, it's interesting, right? Because on one hand, you could look at it and say, damn, they're not really trying to tank, or not even tanking. This is kind of like throwing a wrench into the rebuild. Like, they're trying to win right now. On the other hand, you could say, yeah, they're not really doing it to win. They just need to fill seats. They figure this is culture ads. I don't know, man. I've been gung-ho on the playoffs. I say just go for it at this point. Like, get these guys in here. Hopefully they can provide some value. Hopefully make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I've like been really back and forth about what the team should do and how I feel about them. Like I've been frustrated and excited, but it's nice to see, like, especially now this is like a serious playoff push. Like it's a season where you can watch the standings each day and like get excited about the outcomes of the game. So I think that's good. The other thing I really like is that the young players are a big part of why they're doing well. Like I think I would be more dismal if it was just Mark Stahl, Eric Johnson types that were carrying this team, but like younger players are part of the reason the team has been hanging in there. Like it's like the Tippett's and the Farabys and people like that. So like for that alone, I feel like I'm like leaning positive about this whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I've been at this season. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say that it would be better if they had a top 10 pick or a top 5 pick or whatever. But if the reason that they don't is because these younger players are the ones that are elevating the team and not just a bunch of veterans that are, raising their floor, unnecessarily or whatever, then I can live with that because, then it means maybe they have a couple more pieces that they didn't realize. I mean, like, the way like Morgan Frost has come on lately. I mean, at this time last year, I don't think any of us probably would have thought that he was going to really be in their future plans or was going to be part of the next good
3
Flyers
months ago,
team.
I don't think I would have.
Dude, it wasn't until he went in Tort's office and was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Ever since then, he's been killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a player I was really excited about when, like, early in his career, and then I started to really, like, I think
he was a great
give it up on him.
prospect.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it looks like he's finally, starting to find his game. I mean, the guy can fucking skate really well.
Yeah. I'll say the one thing that's, like, in the back of my head, I'm curious to hear what you guys think, is, like, under the Hextall era, the team was, like, a borderline playoff team that got smoked in the first round or missed the playoffs, and I'm like really nervous that's like there's a lot of talk about culture and being tough to play against and Torts yelling at reporters or whatever. And they might still get just like smoked by the Panthers in the first round. So like, I don't know how you guys feel, but like that's the one worry I have, because the point about the picks. It's like, it would be really nice to just be like drafting first overall next year. And I get that that's not in the cards, but that's just like in the back of my head the whole time. Just like every time they win a game, I'm like, is this the right thing to do right now?
I mean, I get it, because, yeah, we've lived through a failed rebuild before and failed stockpiling of picks and young players and didn't really get us anywhere. I kind of have a little more trust in the brain trust this time. I feel that Briere and Keith Jones kind of know what they're doing. Also, we didn't really have a Mishkov coming over in the past that
Yeah, we haven't had a prospect like that in a long time. I mean, that's what we were hoping that like Nolan Patrick was going to be.
Right,
Obviously,
exactly.
we know that one.
Yeah.
So I think having him in the back, just knowing that when he comes over, that's going to be when it's go time. And I think the front office, the brain trusts, they all recognize that too. So they aren't going to do anything to truly jeopardize that. Do we still need some pieces at the top, like first line, first D pair? Sure. But I think that we can unearth that. Maybe one of these goalie prospects builds their value enough that you can flip them.
Yeah.
Maybe someone develops that we just aren't really expecting anything from, and then you've got it, right? Like, trades do happen for star players too, so there are avenues out of it to avoid it from happening. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I definitely do fear that could be what we're looking at in 5 years, but I feel pretty good that it won't. I don't know, I just have confidence in Briere, front office, and Mishkov coming over.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is, as much as you could look back on the Hextall era and, consider it a failure, which, like, at the end of the day it was, I don't think it can be overstated just how many of their draft picks just did not work out for whatever reason.
True.
It was like, and it wasn't necessarily because they were, like, bad picks or whatever, but it was just like, if you go back and look at all those picks, it's just like whiff after whiff after whiff after whiff. Like, fucking, what the fuck was that guy? Like, I'm blanking on the names, but because I can't even fucking remember them. That's how much.
I mean, Nolan Patrick.
Well, yeah, Nolan.
That's the biggest one.
I mean, Nolan Patrick's the biggest one, but there was just like a bunch of guys. Like, I mean, there was that one. I forget what his name was, where he just got like a bad concussion one year. It was never the same, and just like some other guys like that. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so it was just. If they had just hit on like a couple of those guys, it could have been very different.
Yeah, and I mean, I was like a pretty big Hextall believer. I think probably like more than most people.
I mean, I loved him
all
the
were
first
at
couple
first,
years.
Yeah.
I mean, like him being able to get off the Chris Pronger contract and trading LeCavalier and shit.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like a magician for a couple of years.
No, and actually the thing I worry about most is like, I feel like there was pressure from him internally not to just totally bottom out. And that's the reason I'm most nervous is I like Briere. I feel positive about what he's doing, but the one thing that I really worry about is like, it's like the Comcast leadership that's just like,
fair. We
don't want to risk ticket sales, so we will never say the word like tank. We will never fully throw it down, and that's honestly like why I feel like obviously toward the end of the Hextall tenure, he started to make dumb moves, and a lot of those picks didn't pan out like you said. But like, that's the thing that I fear most about this franchise is like that they just keep themselves too mediocre to get high end talent.
Yeah.
So
it's a legitimate concern, especially when we talk about Comcast. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Comcast is the reason why we're pushing to make the playoffs this year, which, as much as I would love for it to happen, Comcast is looking at it like, yeah, that's what's going to sell tickets, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something to consider. At the end of the day, I don't know, I feel like when you have a prospect come over the level of Mishkov is, things exciting. Are going to turn around for you.
It's very exciting. Like, we haven't had... we've had, like, Giroux and like, Voracek at his peak, Simmons at his peak. We've had some really good players, and Mishkov projects to be, like, that caliber or higher, so that's really exciting. So I do think you're right that's like potentially a thing that's tips the rebuild over the edge. And the other thing I was gonna say is to the point about the trade deadline, which is what we're kind of broadly talking about. very happy they didn't make any stupid moves, because that was the thing I was really nervous about, was that they were
going to get kind of intoxicated by the playoff push.
We need Sean Walker kind of stuff. Like, I was really worried.
I wanted to keep Sean Walker now.
I wanted to get him. I wanted to get everyone out, but I was very happy to see he went. Like,
they got good value for him.
Yeah,
I would have. I would have. If it was up to me, I would have traded Sealer.
Me too.
I would have taken a bag of rocks for Mark Stahl. Just whatever the hell they could have got for him. Like, but. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that does it as far as trade talk. We do have to talk about this Tortorella ejection, though.
Oh
yeah. That was so
classic
goddamn funny,
moment.
dude. That was his first ejection as a Flyer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I believe so.
The last year there was no reason for him to get ejected because the team was non-competitive.
Yeah.
In this game, like, those refs were really bad, dude.
Yeah, it was brutal.
So he had every right to he had every right to be furious and get himself ejected from that game. Like, the 10-minute misconduct on Hathaway for shoving the guy. Like, what the hell is that?
Insane.
It's like, that happens all the time, dude. And you're gonna call that a 10-minute misconduct? And there was another call that was really egregious.
I feel like that's the way that someone would call a pee-wee hockey game, just because you don't want these kids getting out of hand. You want to show,
it had like high school hockey vibes.
It's like you want to like show them like, you can't do that here, blah blah blah. But yeah, in the NHL to be calling that stuff is just fucking nuts. Especially
because you know what players are doing behind the play and stuff. They're just all slashing each other and hitting each other. Like, just a little push like that, it was especially ridiculous.
Yeah, it wasn't even like he had any bad intention. Just like, fuck you, whatever. Like, then for like Torts to get that upset about it, because that is a 10-minute misconduct, I get it. And then to eject him, because he's screaming at you, it's just like, dude, deal with it. You're a ref. You signed up for this.
Yeah, it felt very baseball umpire-ish.
Yeah, you're being mean to me, so you're
all
out.
These, just prima donna fucking umpires. You usually don't really see that in the NHL.
Well, I started.
Usually they know their place, but
right.
Not that night.
Well, I started reading about it after that happened, and I saw Tortorella's been thrown out of like more than a dozen games, and he's been suspended 4 times. And my favorite one was that he got suspended because he tried to go into the Calgary locker room after a game because Calgary put out their like enforcer line at the beginning of the game, and so he put out his enforcer line, and he was really mad about them putting out the enforcer line. So he tried to go back into their locker room, and like their players actually had to stop him from going in, and he got suspended and no restraining order from the team for a while.
Dude, that's such a classic coaches getting mad thing. But like they get so furious when they put out their fourth line at weird times. Like it's just so weird because it's like they're playing in the game. Like, I don't know why that's such like a fucking line you're not supposed to cross. That's always been very strange to me.
It's one of the 4 choices.
I know, exactly. Like, they're gonna play at some point. That's always been really funny to me that coaches get so fucking mad when they do that shit. It's like, what the fuck are you trying to do? I mean, it wasn't that. I remember that. There was one big like Flyers Penguins brawl that I think happened in that 2012 season, and I feel like there was a couple of them. I feel like one of them was over that, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, that's always so funny when they get like really offended that they put their goon line out to start a period or something. Like, I don't know, maybe they just like want to have these guys come out for a short shift and then get the matchup they want with their top line. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it's always just like assumed that it's sinister in intention.
Yeah, it's one of those like boomer NHL moves too that I feel like some of them happen kind of behind the play or like off stage where it's like people getting mad about missing goal shots and stuff like that, where it's like that's not how they played it. But this one like is it really has an impact. It's like, how dare you put out the fourth line, and then there's like fights or Tortorella trying to fight their coach in the locker room. Like,
I'm just imagining Tortorella just like trying to get back there. What is he gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I also saw an interview he did. I'm blanking. It might have been Rangers, but he just started snapping at one of the reporters, and the reporter's like, "Do you want to fight me?" And he was like, No. It's just like, it's that same man who's like, he's like an asshole, but it's like really hard to imagine Tortorella like trying to fight. And like, he was one of the Calgary goons, like was like, no, you're not coming into our locker room. So it's like, it's especially funny to imagone like Tort's like trying to run through like a, 6'4" hockey player.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I
He's
got
like
him
5'7".
Yeah. It'd be funny if he had done that the other night with his like casted up like wrist or whatever. He has like his arm in a sling and he's like threatening to fight people.
One-handed fighter ref.
I mean, he might just whack someone with the cast. That would probably hurt.
Yeah.
Then no, Pat, he did not break his thumb.
Yeah.
Pat has a thing against those thumbs, man. Pat would be like, oh, he's a bitch.
Yeah.
His thumb's fucked up. He's a bitch. But nah, that ejection was incredible. It's probably one of my favorite Torts moments of the season, along with him getting into it with Anthony DiSanfilippo.
Yeah.
That's up there for me, too.
Oh, that was great. I mean,
that feud's still going. He still won't answer.
Right.
every time
he's
tries
like,
to ask a question, he's like, wait, you're that guy. No.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, it's going to get to the point where like I don't even think he's going to show up to Torts.
I'm surprised he does.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, that is very funny.
Yeah, I'm sure they're like press officers like, this is a problem. You can't just like ban a reporter.
Yeah,
especially aren't they the
reporter.
podcast for the team now, right?
Yeah, they have a deal with the team, which is makes it even more weird and funny. But yeah, I would have thought that by now that someone would have sat down with Torts and been like, okay, man, you've made your point, but you can't just like not answer.
Okay.
But I guess they're just like, yeah, well, fuck it, he can do what he wants. It's like, I don't care. Oh,
no,
man.
that's and the reporter that asked him if he's going to fight him, that was also like another reporter. I think it was when he was at the Rangers, who was just like, I'm not answering your questions. Like he just does this, and I'm sure like teams are just like, I don't know what to do about it. Like,
yeah,
it'd be interesting with like what he would say if a team called him out. I wonder what his response would be like. No, I'm not answering his questions. Fuck him.
Yeah,
it'd just be something like that. I could picture it.
Yeah, it was like, what are you gonna do? Fire me over that? No. Yeah.
But, I guess the last thing I had on the Flyers, they are losing 5-1 now, it looks like, so they're not going to win tonight. But, I mean, the schedule's tough. They have the 7th toughest schedule, the rest of the strength of the schedule. But, they, as we were saying before we started recording, they have this gauntlet. After that, it's cake. They play Chicago. They play Montreal twice. The Devils. Columbus, Buffalo, St. Louis. And then you look at the Islanders. The Islanders have a middle-of-the-pack 16th toughest, but they still got 3 against the Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like, I was saying before, it's fun seeing the Flyers in a playoff race, but like the Islanders are the most pathetic team to be barking at their heels because they just like keep choking easy win games and just like just a pretty.
I was gonna say the only thing that concerns me about what you just laid out, Avery, is I don't know if you remember the last time that a Philadelphia team had a gauntlet and then a very easy schedule afterwards.
Oh my God! Don't even remind me,
man.
Yeah. Oh God, you really had to go there. All right. Yeah. If we got to move off of this on that note, I think the Flyers do make it, but
I don't think they're gonna do anything that pathetic, but.
I think they make it largely because the other teams chasing them are falling off, right? Like,
and the other
Pittsburgh's ass, dude. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the other 2 teams that are really in the playoff race are Tampa and the Red Wings, so they're not even in the Met, so they aren't even threatening their actual spot. It would only be if the Flyers fall out to the Islanders, and they have to be better than 2 teams that they're currently better records.
I would like to think that they could finish ahead of a team that fired their coach midway through the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will see. We will see if I'm doing 6 shots of bananas here on this very pod. I hope so, but I hope not at the same time. It's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of things not going too great, or I guess we weren't really talking about things not going too great. The Sixers have not been going too great, although I think right now they're winning. Dean sent a text. Maxi's shot making is absurd. What is the score to this Sixers game? They're up 3 in the 4th quarter. We might have to wrap this up so we can go catch the end of this game. Maxi's got 29. Jesus.
Damn. All right.
No one else on the team is in double figures. Tobias Harris,
Oh, what's his line?
What's he looking like?
6 points on 1 of 6 shooting.
Oh.
He's a -9 with 4 rebounds and three assists.
Okay.
No turnovers, but 1 of 6 shooting. That's horrible. So yeah, I guess we don't got to spend too much time on the Sixers. I actually kind of want to catch you into this game.
Yeah.
But these Tobias stats, dude. His last 5 games. Well, first, the Sixers, their last 5 games are averaging 93.8 points per game. That would have been good in like 2002. That's not good in 2024.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, Tobias has had a really bad last 5 games. Guess what he's shooting from 3 the last 5 games? I don't think you're going to guess.
It's got to be like sub 20.
Yeah.
10%?
What is like 15%?
11.1%.
Yeah.
Jarek, you were really
That's
close.
so brutal.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
2 of 18 from 3 his last
Max
5 games.
contract.
Yeah.
From the field, 38.8%. Free throws, he's only shot 9 free throws in the last 5 games. He's only made 6, so 66%. Has pulled down 8 boards, 2 assists, 1.4 turnovers. He's only a -17. I thought it was going to be way worse. But either way, -17 in the last 5 games as a guy making $40 million isn't great. So I don't really want to beat a dead horse, but he has been ass. And obviously he's stinking the joint up tonight. So
Yeah. No, it's like watching the last few Sixers games, it's disheartening to see how lost they all look out there. Like it's just like that game against the Knicks the other night. It's just like they looked like they were a G League team trying to play an NBA team. Like and like Anunoby was like running them like he's Shaq. Like it was really it's a really sad game to watch.
yeah, they just don't have it, man. Like, especially those games when Maxey was out. It's just like you're relying on Kelly Oubre and that's it. Which
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre had some good games. He was playing his ass off, but if he's your number 1 option on offense, then that's not very good.
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
They would throw the ball to Tobias, and he's just dribbling around in the mid-post for 5 seconds, not doing anything. He'll pass it or just take a shitty jumper.
Yeah.
Just you can't rely on anyone on this team without Maxey and without Embiid. It's a good thing Maxey's back, but I don't know. I struggle to think that they'll be able to stay out of the play-in. The rate things are going.
Oh, yeah. I think they're probably going to end up in the play-in.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing in.
Which, if they get the 7 seed and the Heat play the 8 or the 8 seed, they got to play the Heat first. I don't want to do that. The Heat turn it on. The last year they were a play-in team. They made it to the finals. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Jimmy all of a sudden decided to
Jimmy's
start
going to just rip our hearts out
like
again.
He does.
Yeah, especially when he's coming out of his emo phase, he's gonna be like ready.
Yeah,
to
Jimmy's
go.
going to be pissed, dude.
Yeah.
He's going to go from emo Jimmy to metal Jimmy. He's just going to own us.
He's black metal Jimmy Butler phase. He's gonna go hard.
Does he still have his hair like that?
No.
Yeah.
Or does he?
I mean I
haven't seen a Heat
saw
game in a while.
I saw him on TV like last night, and he still had. The swoop, so
okay.
I don't know if he's.
That's funny.
It was just his photo, though. I don't know if he's.
Well, I think that they take that official photo in the beginning of the season, and then they're just stuck with it.
Has he had it all season? I thought he just started the swoop like in the last.
No, the swoop was media day. I remember he showed up at media day at the start of the season.
Love it.
As emo Jimmy.
Damn.
And
that's the real reason it's hard not to have Jimmy right now, because he's
so
doing Fall Out Boy
dude.
videos. I love it.
He's such a character. I love Jimmy Butler.
We see Jimmy showing up at like West Philly house shows, like basement emo shows.
Yeah, maybe he'll come back as Crust Punk Jimmy next year.
Yeah.
That would rule.
Just see like
he just comes back with like nappy ass dreadlocks.
Just see like just Jimmy Butler hanging out outside of Tattooed Moms with a fucked up looking dog, just asking people for
cardboard sign on Grace Ferry Avenue with a cardboard sign.
Asking people if they can get cuts on their cigarettes. Just like, I'm traveling.
If there were ever a pro athlete
getting kicked out of bars and
But yeah, anyway, so the Sixers haven't been fun to watch. Offense has been ass. The concerning thing, or I guess this is concerning-ish, is that a couple weeks ago I was saying that the ESPN reporter for the Mavericks games, she said something to the effect of, Yeah, apparently Embiid's like lifting the same weight he was before the injury. Like he started light on court activities. I think that was cap, dude. Because then Ramona Shelburne is like really plugged in Embiid and like must have like some connection to someone close in his camp. Was on ESPN this week, and she said that he's nowhere near close to returning, and that they're hoping he comes back last week of the season. Which,
yeah, the thing is, right before we recorded, we were talking, and I saw a Sports Illustrated report that he's going to be back in the beginning of April, and it was just this. It was like from a source, so it's hard to know how much smoke there is there, but I don't know. I try to tune some of this stuff out because I feel like they just play with our emotions to get some content out there, but yeah, they need him back. This is the long and short of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the one thing is, people will be like, well, if he's only coming back at the end of the year, then we'll be lucky if he's like, at 80% for the playoffs. But if you think about it, he had this injury for longer than we were aware of, and he was playing like a fucking MVP player. Yeah. So 80% might be good enough. I don't know. We'll see. It's just like it's very uncertain right now.
Especially while he's stealing Mo Bamba's 17 minutes or whatever.
Oh my God, I can't watch that guy, dude.
Yeah. No, he leaves. I mean, obviously he leaves a huge gap just as like the talent that he is, but like watching Bamba and Reed kind of try and fill in for him is really brutal.
Yeah, and that's not a knock against B-Ball Paul.
No, I mean, B-Ball Paul is like stepping up, but it's like 27 minutes of B-Ball Paul split with Mo Bamba. Like
B-Ball Paul's great as a backup to Embiid.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's where you want him, but yeah.
Joel, get well soon, buddy. We miss you.
Well, should we talk about the only presidential candidate that's fighting for real freedom? Some of you may have heard that RFK Jr. has a short list of vice presidential candidates that include former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura and, of course, current Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know. I mean, do you think that he could, maybe take another season off from the NFL to hit the campaign trail with fellow anti-vaxxer RFK Jr.?
Can you do ayahuasca and be in office?
I ain't heard no law against it.
You probably can't do drugs like that.
Well, I mean,
what kind of drugs does he do? He does ayahuasca. He probably does ketamine.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers has done ketamine.
I could definitely see him being like I microdose kind of guy, but actually like not micro.
Yeah.
Just like full dose.
I'm excited about this because I don't think RFK has a chance of hell, obviously.
Not.
But like,
the most interesting thing is who's he going to take more votes away from is really the question.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I just love thinking about the White House that would be RFK and Aaron Rodgers. Like this, like Trump was a moron, but he had a lot of like standard Republican people around him. But like, I think RFK would really fill the White House with like,
that would be the greatest cabinet ever.
Yeah. Joe Rogan is like the Minister of Health for the United States. Like,
yeah,
wild.
Just a bunch of weird like podcasters and Instagram influencers to fill out the cabinet.
Oh yeah,
I would say the one thing. I mean, it does kind of make sense because one thing that RFK Jr. and Aaron Rodgers both have in common is that their families want nothing to do with them.
That's very true.
So they got that going. They have that in common. Yeah, it's very funny. I don't know. I guess we go on to the Sandy Hook thing.
Well, yeah. So, do you think, right? Like, if Aaron Rodgers is going out there saying Sandy Hook is a conspiracy, if that makes RFK Jr. reconsider?
Probably.
Yeah, you can't have that guy like as your running mate if he's saying that was a conspiracy. You got to pull the clip up for people that don't know what we're talking
CNN's
about.
Pamela Brown was covering the Kentucky Derby. She was introduced to Rodgers. Hearing that she was a journalist at CNN, Rodgers began attacking the news media for, quote, covering up important stories. Rodgers then brought up the Sandy Hook shooting. and said the news media was intentionally ignoring that the shooting wasn't real, that it was a government inside job. I remind you, the shooting, of course, was very real, very tragic. 20 children and 6 adults were murdered that day. When Pamela Brown asked Aaron Rodgers for evidence of what he was talking about, Rodgers then began sharing various theories that have been disproven numerous times by evidence. Rodgers falsely claimed to Pamela Brown that there were men in black in the woods by the school, and he asked if she thought that was odd. Brown says that she found the entire encounter disturbing.
Yeah. I would be really funny if, because I know like he doesn't really come on anymore, but it'd be really funny if Pat McAfee continued to have Aaron Rodgers come on after all this shit. It's like, so, what, what's going on with this Sandy Hook thing? Like, why don't you give us your side of the story? Oh man, it's also really funny to me that just thinking about all this from like the Jets standpoint, this fucking like just think about like what the Jets have been for the past like 2 decades or whatever. Like, they're like the butt fumble team, just, fit like, these awful seasons where they barely can scrape like one win. Just this total.
Just look at last year alone.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, this total sad sack of a franchise, and they finally are like, all right, we landed Aaron Rodgers. We're relevant again. They're talking about us going to the playoffs, like maybe like, even like a sleeper Super Bowl contender, like a sneaky like pick there, and then. Obviously he gets hurt or whatever. And then on top of that, it's like now this guy who was supposed to catapult their team and their relevancy is just like the most batshit fucking crazy dude. And it's just like ruining their entire image. It's, oh man.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Jets.
I love stuff like this because the football media has been trying to cover this issue because they just lughead sports commentators. They don't know how to talk about this. But I've heard several takes that are like, he needs to immediately tell the Jets what his plan is. It's been already 24 hours since this was announced. And he needs to get to the Jets and be like, I will not accept this bid. The Jets are trying to make something happen this year. It's like, I think they're cooked no matter what. So
yeah, I mean, it'd be funny if there was some kind of stipulation in his contract that was like, if he decides to run for public office, they don't have to pay the remainder of his contract. And it's like, we have to encourage him to do this.
Yeah, I was thinking like, the Jets will try and get out of it because like he'll give a speech in defense of one of RFK's policies, and they're like, we found that you're in violation of a UN decree, so we have to release you.
RFK is so funny because, I mean, there's certain things where it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I mean, he's like he's like pretty much the only guy running who's saying anything about the whole like Blackstone buying up all these like houses and like shit like that. But then he'll just squander it by having this just saying something crazy or whatever.
Yeah, I mean they're a perfect fit for each other because I think they're both
totally.
like credulous idiots.
They're
really
it's an attention seek more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like neither of them are like really know what they're talking about at all.
Yeah. I mean, at least RFK. Dude, it's always hilarious when I remember that RFK is married to Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like so weird.
And the Hines dynasty.
Yeah. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers still just living alone in his big house in where is it in New Jersey? Fucking Montclair. You got that big old house.
Oh, that's
by
right.
himself.
Yeah.
Just total, like, I don't know. Like, I always, whenever I think about Aaron Rodgers, I always think about that line from True Detective Season 1 where, Marty, or, what's his name? The actor, Woody Harrelson is like interviewing, and he's saying, past a certain age, a man without a family can be a bad thing. And that is like completely, that's totally Aaron Rodgers. I was like, there's no way that a man, that this guy, if he had, who was he like dating? Like
Olivia Munn. Yeah.
Isn't she kind of a weirdo too? In some ways,
I don't think she's like as
well, not like
this.
this. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if this,
he was dating a race car driver too.
Yeah, if
Danica
this guy,
Patrick.
Yeah. I mean, if he had, stuck with that and been married with kids, there's no fucking way he'd be off on all this crazy. You wouldn't have time to think about these things.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. Like, he has too much, like, especially the fact that he was not playing football this season, too much time
he was
to
on
sit
some
around
bullshit,
at home on the internet.
Yeah.
Just, that does a man in, you know?
He's got, I mean, again, if he slips through and becomes VP, though, like Dark McConaughey vibes in the White House. Where
Yeah.
They're just like doing a press conference. He's like,
Time
am I
is a
dreaming
flat
or is our dreams dreaming me?
Yeah. Time is a flat circle.
Then just starts talking about Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Then goes on a dark retreat where he just sits in a dark room in the White House.
Hyperbolic chamber or
for like
whatever.
an hour or for a day, actually. However long he did that. What a weirdo, dude.
Would be the coolest White House, though. That
True. I mean, hey, that'd probably be our best chance at drugs becoming federally legal, if we're being honest.
That's like their first act.
that
Legalize
would be
all
cool.
drugs.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny how they found, cocaine lying around the White House, and it's like, oh, it must be Hunter's. Like, think about all the crazy shit they're going to find with this administration in office.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. Like, we found, a kilo of pure ketamine. Yeah.
Just taking all the congressional leads on an ayahuasca retreat.
Yeah.
That's how they whip votes.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
No, it wouldn't be too bad.
Hey, if drugs became federally legal, I'm happy.
Yeah, I was saying, like, the degree of legality of certain things is, like, whatever, but to me, it's got to just get to the point where you can just go to 7-Eleven and buy a pack of J's. Like, that's what I think it should be, you know?
Then RFK is your man.
Yeah, that's what,
I guess I know who I'm supposed to vote for.
Yeah, we can't do the uncommitted thing here, so...
Yeah, it's not a thing in PA. You can't. I mean, I guess you can write it in, but people aren't going to do that because it's hard to even figure out how to do that on the machine.
That's a good point. Yeah, I've never done a writing on the machine.
Yeah, I've never done, like, in 2016, I was like considering just writing someone in instead of voting for Hillary, and it was literally the moment I got into the booth and was like, I can't figure out how to do this fucking. I just voted for Hillary. I was like, and then she lost anyway, so whatever. Well, I think that'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please give us a 5-star rating and review every other podcast. Give us a follow on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
Bye.